Donald Trump is learning that Ukrainian President Volodmyr Zelensky has cards and is willing to assist the United States in offering those cards. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, as the case may be. This is the Political Blowback Podcast. My name is Steve Kostick. So glad you could join us. Thank you. Thank you for sitting in and participating. There is an old adage in the entertainment industry, and the adage goes like this: the same people that you meet on the way up are the same people that you meet on the way down. And of course, this is alluding to the people who are rising stars. They should be mindful of how they treat people as they climb their way to the top, because as they come down off of the top and their career starts to wane, they're going to meet the same people. And, if you're not treating people the right way on the way up, you're going to meet those same people that you didn't treat very well on the way up coming down. And I think that's very true in the entertainment business. And I think it's true through a lot of disciplines throughout our lives in our careers, whether we're working in a corporate environment, whether we're working as a civil servant. There is so much truth to that. I hearken back to very early in the second term of Donald Trump's presidency, when he extended an invitation to Volodmyr Zelensky. By the way, Volodmyr means Walter. Vladimir, Volodmyr, same thing. Walter, Wally, Ukrainian, Russian, same kind of thing. He invited Mr. Zelensky to the White House, and this turned out to be, in my estimation, one of the most embarrassing moments in the history of the Oval Office for the United States. Here you had this head of state who had been mercilessly, the country of Ukraine had been mercilessly invaded by Russia and Vladimir Putin. And when he came to the Oval Office, he was met with essentially two things. The first thing that he was met with was a comment offered to him inside the Oval Office in camera, where it was said, are you so disrespectful not coming into this Oval Office with a suit and a tie on? And he was scorned for doing that. I think it's also important to add that Elon Musk was in that same Oval Office a couple weeks earlier with his blue jeans on, his cowboy boots. He had a baseball cap on, the blue jeans and t-shirt and a long coat. So it's okay for Elon Musk to do that, but it's not okay for a head of state to do that. Volodymyr Zelensky, he typically adorns, a sweatshirt with a little emblem of the country of Ukraine on his shirt. And yes, he was dressed down, but this is what he does because he's in a wartime right now. So he's not trying to impress anybody with his, his dapper nature. He's fully aware that there's an appropriate place to put on the dog and show your best clothes, and there's another time just not to do that. And wartime is one of those times where you don't do that. I think it's also important to harken back and remember that Volodymyr Zelensky was also faced with a criticism on that very day inside the Oval Office Well, you never say thank you. Uh, when in fact, people like Donald Trump and the rest of his entourage, if they had been following the news reports, the Twitter feed of Volodymyr Zelensky, he would routinely, and I mean almost routinely, say thank you to the American people for their support. But Donald Trump's administration, these people are not detail people. These people who do not pride themselves on being in the know about what's really going on. So, both of those comments were not only embarrassing, but they were essentially very, very rude. They were ill-informed. In the case of Volodymyr Zelensky never said thank you. Uh, and again, this is one of the most embarrassing moments in the history of the Oval Office. And unfortunately, that is a reflection on the people of the United States of America. The face that Donald Trump and his entourage puts on, that's the perception of the world, let alone the people inside the USA. And I think those people, or those non-MAGA head people, they understand exactly what I'm talking about, because that episode was totally unnecessary. Uh, Remember, and I think this is so important to remember this, that when Volodymyr Zelensky visited Washington on that occasion to come to the Oval Office, um, he got no official greeting upon coming to the airport. Nobody rolled out a red carpet for him. He was not treated like a head of state. I think, he was probably one small step removed from having to get an Uber to come to the White House to have this high level discussion as a head of state. And contrast that with what Vladimir Putin did inside of, or when he was invited to Alaska for high level talks. Donald Trump thought it would be appropriate to have on the itinerary printed His Excellency Vladimir Putin. What can someone please quantify or qualify for me what His Excellency means? Is he the Pope? Or do you achieve that designation by murdering civilians every single day of a now 5-year war? Because that's what Vladimir Putin has been doing. He's been targeting civilian population. He is a terrorist. There's no debate about this. He is a terrorist. And I think it's very, very important that while Donald Trump was rolling out the red carpet on the runway for Vladimir Putin, again, contrast that with the way he treated Volodymyr Zelensky. Here we are today, and Donald Trump now finds himself in a situation where, exactly as Volodymyr Zelensky had to deal with this pretty much exact same situation, the nation of Iran has an enormous arsenal of drones. And I dare say that this is going to be the last bastion of defense for them. Now, Donald Trump, make no mistake about this, he is in a hurry because he understands the enormous cost, not only to the United States taxpayers, which I'm going to talk about in more detail in just a minute. He understands the enormous cost to the taxpayer, and he also understands the enormous propensity for economic ruin that could be experienced the world over with the unsettling effect of what's going on in the Strait of Hormuz that's disrupting the oil industry to the point where gasoline is rising across the globe. Yes, it's rising across the globe. I always marvel completely. I'm just dumbfounded when I see posts on social media from MAGA followers that say things like, well, Donald Trump said, drill, baby, drill, baby, drill, and look how low the price of gasoline is because our good old pal, Donald Trump, is working hard for us to get the price of gasoline down. When in fact, the truth of the matter is, since Donald Trump became president again in his second term, the world was experiencing a enormous glut of oil. And that's what suppressed the price. What did not suppress the price of oil was Donald Trump saying, drill, baby, drill. I mean, Donald Trump can hold high-level meetings all day long with executives of oil companies. The bottom line is this: oil companies will not. They will not just start drilling just because Donald Trump says so. They are going to drill to the economics of the day, and they are going to drill in accordance with supply and demand. Period. 62% of all oil that is manufactured inside the United States and is its point of origin is the United States, is coming from the shale patch through fracking. And the simple fact of the matter is that the United States of America is now coming into an era and a period of time where oil exploration in the shale patch is now maturing. There's going to be no more growth. He can't say drill, baby, drill, and they're going to start, trying to tap the shale patch even more because it's maturing. It's not quite declining yet, but it's not maturing. I think it's very important for people to understand that the United States, with the prospects moving forward of how much oil they do have, they need other countries a lot more than Donald Trump would let on. A good deal of oil travels to the United States every single day from Canada. Let's look for a moment at some of the underlying sentiments that Donald Trump has made since coming to office for the second time. One of the first things he did was he said that Canada should become the 51st state. and and he called Justin Trudeau the governor and all this horse shit. I mean, you know what? It's not that stuff is not even funny. It's not productive. It just creates resentment. And I don't know why he does that shit. He calls Adam Schiff Shifty Schiff, and crazy Nancy Pelosi. I mean, this is not freaking WrestleMania here. This is not the entertainment business. This is real life where you actually have to cooperate with people to get things done and keep the country moving in a harmonious fashion. Donald Trump knows nothing about harmony. Zero. first thing he did was he tried to put the seed into the mind's eye of people inside of North America that Canada should become the 51st state. We have a lot of oil here in Canada just by coincidence. And remember, the shale patch is maturing. Then he wanted to invade Greenland, one of the largest untapped resources of crude oil is believed to be inside of Greenland. What a coincidence. He invaded Venezuela. What does Venezuela have? Probably the largest oil reserve on the face of the planet. Are you starting to see a pattern here? Then he invades Iran. What does Iran have? Iran has oil and plenty of it. So I dare say what's really happening here is Donald Trump, even though he's going to offer different excuses and fabricate different things to offer motivations to the world as to why he's doing things, I got to raise an eyebrow at the fact that he's either invading or intimating invasion or takeover of some sort of all these nations. But I think this situation in Iran is somewhat backfiring on him. I don't have any doubt in my mind that the United States and Israel will eventually conquer Iran. But I do think it will take longer than a lot of people think. I don't think it'll be 4 or 5 weeks. And with bringing in Volodmyr Zelensky as well to help them to understand the right way to do drone warfare is tantamount to the success of that operation. Remember, Volodmyr Zelensky rewrote, or you might as well say wrote, the manual on drone warfare. They understand, the Ukrainians understand how to do this better than anybody because they've just been mercilessly attacking Russia, attacking their oil infrastructure. And that the drone warfare is a large part of what has kept the nation of Ukraine sovereign. And now Donald Trump is finally realizing who his friends really are. And maybe the next time this situation rolls around, he should roll out the red carpet for his allies, not for his adversaries. Or is there some confusion in Donald's mind about who his friends are and who his foes are? Hope I gave you something to think about. You have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. And please remember that if you like and share and subscribe to this channel, it really, really helps us out and helps us to expand our audience. So you have a great day, and thank you for tuning in. See you next time on Political Blowback.